Okay, so I mean, I'm just interested. How did you first get into production? So, like, what put you on this track? Like, what first got you attracted to music in the first place?
My first placement was, my first, I guess, music industry check was I did some stuff for BET, the top 20 countdown, and really that was just me being in New York, and I don't know, something about New York. You kind of just run into people. You just have some mutual friends that work for MTV and BET, and I mean, they know I did music. I was just actually starting at the time, and I gave them a few tracks, and luckily it got placed. And from there, I used to intern for Bad Boy.
Yep.
While I was there, I really just started making beats and whatnot, and my stuff kind of got in the hands of this A&R at Def Jam. Her name is Filet Knight, and she kind of got my stuff around and got my first placement on the Rough Riders album, Volume 3. A couple of joints, a joint on there with Drag On, and there's another joint on there. But that was my first major placement, the joint with Rough Riders.
But let me ask you real quick. But you used to DJ before that, right?
Yeah.
That's where you got. Like, that's where
I
you really
used to
started.
DJ. I was on the radio at. Oh, I don't even know if I can curse, but I guess.
Try not to let too many out.
I forgot. I used to spin in Lansing, and I also spin at Michigan State's radio station.
How old were you when that was going on?
I was 16, like 17, 16,
Young,
17.
okay. All right.
I got started with that. There's a couple of cats, Jason Staten. He really kind of put me on. There's a few other cats in the East Lansing, Michigan State scene that really looked out for me.
Yeah, by the way, big shouts to the Cultural Vibe Show. They still have it going on in Michigan State. Yeah.
Yes, the Cultural Vibe. It was dope, man. A lot of those people that started that show, like a lot of them are down here. There's a lot of people from just Michigan. I'm in Atlanta, by the way, but a lot of people down here that's still doing big things. It's not in radio or music. They're doing in film, video, and stuff like that. So
right, that
dope.
crossover.
So maybe transition a little bit to like an artist that you have had a longer relationship with. I was really interested to know about how you got in touch with Lupe Fiasco and ended up doing those 3 tracks, The Pen and the Needles, Tilted, and then Hurt Me Soul on the album. Like, what's your creative relationship like with Lupe?
It's man, Lupe is dope, man. We kind of came up together. I met him. I think my manager introduced him to me a while ago when he was on Arista, before Arista folded.
Okay.
And I heard a lot of his mixtapes. Before the album, I really was really feeling the mixtapes. I think the DJ GI one, I forgot the name of it, but I was a big fan of his. He was a big fan of mine. And the way I think we did, I had actually a few on the album before I guess Hurt Me Soul and Tilted. Tilted at one point was going to be the single, but the way Pins and Needles came about was I was just in my studio in Brooklyn, and I was making a beat, and it was a Marvin Gaye sample, and I just figured that no one would clear it. I didn't think I'd be able to clear the sample, so I just hit Lupe up. It was like, yo, I think you should just rock to this joint, and he did it, and it came out dope. But yeah, it was a time like when he was coming out. Like I said, we kind of came up together, and over the years we fell out of touch until recently, actually. And I've been sending him some music, and actually it's looking like I might have one of his singles on his new album, and as well as another joint on there. So
wow.
Yeah, man, I'm looking. And then throughout all that, he's always looked out for me. Like if I ever needed a verse or whatever, he would shoot me a verse. I had a couple artists over the years, and then my new artist, Eclipse, he just did a verse for. And he's always looked out. We have been in like constant contact. It's not like we talk all the time, but I think we just got that, mutual respect for each other. So it was like, if you need anything from me, I got them, and vice versa.
Right. And also just a little bit about the Pen and the Needlz track. Like you said, it was a Marvin Gaye sample, like really high profile, so you weren't able to clear it. I was wondering if there's any other tracks out there you've done that are just kind of like sitting in the vaults because, labels might not have been able to like clear the samples or weren't willing to pay.
Oh yeah, I mean it happens a lot. Like even Hurt Me So, like these cats are taxing. Like I think one of the reasons why sampling on a mainstream level is kind of dying is because people are charging these outrageous amounts, and I really think there needs to be some kind of cap on what they could charge. But like for Hurt Me So, they took a majority of that record.
Wow.
And it's just unfortunate because it kind of I remember Lupe was saying on his next album he didn't want any samples,
right?
Because his first album had a ton of samples, and that shit that stuff adds up, and it's unfortunate because it kind of kills the art. Like even with I did a lot of stuff on Young Buck's album. I was originally supposed to have four joints on the album, but one was a Queen sample, never sample Queen. They wanted something outrageous, and then actually it was 2 Queen records that didn't make it. So I mean it happens, but you just kind of gotta know who to sample and who not to sample. Like don't sample any Barry White,
right?
Like he'll kill you. Prince will never clear. You know what I'm saying? Unless you got some crazy connect. Queen, never mess with Queen. I mean, there's just some people that I've over the years that you just know not to mess with. And with me now, I only sample when I know it's a single material type sample.
Right,
you know what I mean? That's just for the mainstream stuff. But I have a new artist. His name is right now it's Eclipse. It's actually it's going to change slightly, but I've been working with him for a while, and the album we're doing is actually all samples, just because it's something that we're putting out to the public, and it's not going through a label at this point. So I think it's something that's kind of missing, and it's something that if it's done the right way could really do a lot for hip hop. So